Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker, and today we're going to talk about the no refund, no return policy. You know, I talk a lot about marriages, about divorces. We know the statistics, 50 some odd percent of marriages end up in divorce. Women initiate them 80% of the time. What I want to talk about, though, is the reason why, not so much that you don't want to get married, because again, we talk about that all the time, is the fact that you're probably not going to be able to get married. You're probably not going to be able to even find somebody that is worth marrying. And if you do, there's no refunds, there's no returns. You're stuck with what you've got. Now, if you look at my title card here, I have Pierce Brosnan and his wife. And I use this as just as a simple visual representation of how things can change over 20 years. Pierce is still pretty slim. He's still a pretty good looking bloke, even though his hair's gone a little bit silver. He's kind of the silver fox. But she's put on a considerable amount of weight. This isn't calling her out for her weight, by the way. I mean, it's just, again, I can't visually show you how much someone has mentally changed over the years of a relationship, but I can show you easily how someone can physically change. Because here at the beginning, you'll see on this card here, here's what they looked like pretty close to when they got married. Both slim, both attractive, both doing very well. And here's another photo of them. And you can see how she's looking at him. Like, she's doting over him, and she's totally like, wow, you know, famous movie star, good-looking guy. And here they are. This is 20 years later on their 20th wedding anniversary. You can see she's gained a lot of weight, and he still looks pretty much the same, except 20 years of wrinkle, and he's still got his hair. Lucky guy. I wish I had mine. But he's still relatively fit. But here's what I found interesting about this, and I want to read what he says about his wife. Darling Keeley is her name. Pierce Brosnan and Darling Keeley celebrated 20 years married. They say, happy anniversary to you, my darling Keeley. My love forever grows with you. And it says the James Bond actor met American journalist model Keeley Shea in 1994. They were married on August 6, 2001. And they have two kids, Dylan and Paris. He has always expressed glowingly how caring and understanding Keeley was to him, especially following the death of his first wife, Cassandra Harris. She passed away from cancer in 1991. And it says, he said before, Keeley has always been kind and compassionate and encouraged me to mourn Cassie. And here you can see a couple of photos of them. And he goes on to say, happy anniversary, my darling. My love forever grows with you. And he still says he fancies the pants off his 57-year-old wife. So when they got married, she was 37. They reside primarily in Malibu, California, with a second American home in Hawaii and Irish residences in Dublin and County Meath. But here's the important thing about this, okay, is that even though she has, let me find that picture, even though she's put on weight, even though she may not look the same, she obviously brought a lot more to the table than just her looks and her physical beauty. Because those obviously over the last 20 years have faded, but he's still very much in love with her today. And that's the problem with, and again, I use their pictures just as a representation of how much things can change in 20 years. But the fact is she brought a lot more to the table than just, here I am a woman, and I'm pretty, and I'm very sexually expressive, and I put myself out there. Here's my bobs and vagine and all that stuff. Because even though her looks and her beauty faded, he still finds something that he's very much in love with about her. And that shows you that if women bring more to the table than just their looks and everything else, that men can still and will still, not only does he keep in shape because he's still an actor and he does various movie roles, I'm sure, but he still takes care of himself. But even though she hasn't in the same way, she still has a lot to offer him. And that's important. But the problem is today that women are not bringing nearly as much to the table. And so that if you take a very shallow, empty, insecure woman, and then her looks and her fade, or her looks and her looks fade and her weight goes up and her age goes up, she really doesn't have that much to offer. And so as crazy as this is, I'm kind of celebrating these two finding each other and being happy, even though, again, she's gained quite a bit of weight. They're both happy, and that's the important thing. But things can change. And if that's all she brought to the table, he probably would have left her a long time ago. Well, I wanted to talk about this because I want to talk about, number one, signs you shouldn't be in a relationship at all, signs that you're a serial monogamist, and signs that you're a serial cheater. Now, of course, these are all mostly written for women's magazines, but I find that it's actually just as relevant when it comes to talking about women in relationships. It's just, you have to change some of the ways that the flirting and everything happens. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because so many times people say, well, why are men not dating anymore? Why are men not asking women out anymore? Why are men just doing the hit it and quit it and they're not investing into women anymore? And it's because a lot of these traits are what men are seeing in modern women today. And they're saying, I'm not interested in this. Like, you're not, either I see the warning signs, I see the red flags, or you're not bringing enough to the table. So we're going to read down through this. And then for those of you sticking around, for those of you that are watching this on Locals, after this, we're going to be doing the dating profiles of the day. We're going to be doing some fails and losses. And then we're going to play around with the delusional woman calculator, which is looking at, there's a cool little slider. I think one of you posted this on the Locals page about how you can see how delusional a woman is finding that. So those of you that are over on Locals will enjoy that after the main article. So they say 11 signs you shouldn't be in a relationship at all. And while I'm reading through this, guys, either relate this to yourself, because some of this does relate to me, or relate it to women that you're thinking about dating and how many of this relates to them. They say some people think being in a relationship, even if it's a crappy one, is better than being alone, but those people are wrong. There are times when you're better off alone, and if you relate to any of these signs, you really don't belong in a relationship. Number one, you still miss your ex. There are memes and memes and memes, and you and what the other guy looks like. Especially the women that have been serial dating, the top 10, 15 percenters, top 20 percenters, when they fall out of that range and they can't get those guys anymore, she may be dating you, but she's still dreaming of the alpha widow, as we call them, or she's still dreaming of Chad, the guy that she really wishes she could have, and really you're just a placeholder until she can swap you out going for another guy. If that's somebody that you've married or cohabitated with and they do that, you may be losing your shirt. But how many women do you know are still always pining for their exes? Number two, they have low self-esteem. Same thing. How many women today have low self-esteem? And a good way to know this is to look how many posts and how many photos they're putting up on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and trying to get that attention, checking their phone every few minutes to see how many likes or if someone made a comment on their information. That's pretty telling that they have low self-esteem. Feeling lost in life. This is another thing I see all the time on Twitter. Same thing on Reddit in a lot of the forums. And this happens to both young men and young women. But the difference is the young men that are kind of feeling lost in life, they don't have the ability to just go out and latch onto somebody. They spend a lot of their time alone, which is what you hear most of the time in the forums. And guys, when they respond to that, are like, dude, get some friends, go shoot pool, get into your hobby, go to the gym. Well, what do women do? A lot of times women will get into a very shallow relationship to get that attention and maybe find a direction in life. Number five, they have a hard time being alone. We kind of just talked about that. And again, this may be relevant to some of you guys out there as well. And if you are struggling with that, obviously you shouldn't be dating. They say you think a relationship will fix all your problems. Yeah, that's both common in many young people today. They think, oh, if I just meet somebody, things will go well, I'll be happy. Doesn't work like that. You've been a serial monogamist since you were a teenager. This is a lot of women today, where they're thinking like men. They're going out, they're dating these popular, good-looking guys. They're being used in the meantime. They don't realize it. But the guy is going out there having a good time. He's just using a bunch of women because he can, because he's a top 10 or 20 percenter, or he's got good game, or he knows how to carry himself. And in the meantime, these women are like dating him, and then they get dumped by him. They say, well, I can get another, I deserve a guy like that. And they keep dating and getting dumped and dating and getting dumped. There is no long-term relationship. Instead of settling down a little bit and dating in their range, they just keep shooting for the stars and falling flat on their face. Number 8, you think people in relationships are generally happier? They are not. We know this, gentlemen. We talk about the statistics and how things can change. And a good one to talk about is just what happens in marriage. Many of you guys have said, man, I got married and she turned. Just like that. I mean, we joke around that the BJs are over, because they usually are once you get married. But also she started being this, she started doing that. The bedroom action stopped. She started being controlling or manipulative or bribing me with some bedroom fun. Like, yeah, we definitely know that things change. Well, a lot of times people will make it sound like marriage is the way to go and you'll be happier once you're married. Doesn't happen that way. But these, again, women a lot of times will think they are and they're not. You've never been happy single. Again, that's the same thing with a lot of women serial dating. You don't know what kind of life you want. Again, same thing with everybody in their 20s. They know they want to go to college. They know they want to get a degree in something. A lot of times underwater basket weaving doesn't do you any good. And they come out of college and they're just in a lot of debt. They don't know what they want to do for work, or their college degree is worthless and it doesn't get them anywhere. And they're just kind of floundering. So what do? It's party time. It's hookup time. It's clubbing time. They don't have any solid path in life. Another one, you cheat in every relationship you're with. Man, that's happening a lot nowadays I keep wanting to say younger people, but it's happening a lot to everybody, really, that cheating is going on in a lot of relationships. Another reason why, most of the time when women do cheat, they'll say the guy was always lacking something. Like if a guy cheats, he's a pig. He's a dog. He couldn't keep it in his pants. Shame on him. If a woman cheats, she turns around and says, well, he didn't give me what I needed. Oh, well, shame on him again. Or he worked too much, so he didn't give me attention. Well, shame on him. Well, he didn't work enough and he wasn't bringing home enough money, and so I was stressed out about bills. Shame on him. It always points, the fingers always point back to the men. But again, the women have an excuse for the cheating. And when guys cheat, men are bad. When women cheat, men are bad. You see how that works, don't you? But we know cheating has gone crazy. Number 12, forever alone scares you to death. I know this affects some of you guys. I just do. A lot of times guys will say, oh man, but what happens if you just are alone for the rest of your life and in your old age, who's going to take care of you? Man, go into these nursing homes. Like I was reading a study or a report that STDs are rampant in nursing homes. Why? Because all the old people are getting it on all freaky deaky. Now that may sound pretty gross to you when you're a 22-year-old dude, but someday if you're lucky enough to get to 75 or 80, maybe you still want to get your freak on. You go to a nursing home, save your money, and get a cute in-home nurse to take care of you. But if you're thinking that way, the truth is, are you going to really find somebody today when you're 30 and they're going to stick around till you're 85? More than likely not. And again, you just follow the statistics. That's all I have that one. Here's the other one I wanted to jump down. I'm going through these lists real quick. This is just kind of a fun video. It's not like a really deep dive into anything, but I want to put these out there so as you're kind of swiping online, if you're still doing that, or if you're still going out on dates, you can see these trends and you kind of go, okay, yeah, this is actually happening. 17 signs you're involved with a serial dater. And then they also say what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but these are signs. Again, look at modern women today and how many of their habits line up with these little warning signs they're talking about. They're always dating. Yup. And if you've ever seen my older videos where I do the dating profile of the day, or if you are watching this on Locals, and you can see the dating profiles of the day there, they're always saying, like, I don't want a player. Been there, done that. I don't want a guy that's just going to use me. Been there, done that. I don't want a guy that's going to play with my heart. Been there, done that. I don't want, been there, done that. They're all, and these are 22-year-old women that are saying, like, whoa, the fun is over. I need to get someone serious because I'm tired of getting hurt, burnt, used. It's like, is there ever a moment you've taken a pause? And to kind of even call out my family a little bit, my sister is a serial dater. Like she's one of the people that we talk about where it's like, oh, I've got a friend and his name is Bob. And she might be dating Steve. But then she's got a friend, Bob, that's kind of new out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden her and Steve broke up, and 3 weeks later, her and Bob have decided to date. And then while she's dating Bob, she has a new friend named Mike. And before you know it, her and Bob have decided to break up, and now she's dating Mike. It's been like that forever with her. I mean, so it is a thing and people are doing it, but they're always dating. They love the honeymoon period. We talk about this all the time. The butterflies, the feelings, the excitement, the tingles, and then it goes away. Boom, done, and moving on. This is the vast majority of women today. They're the ones doing the chasing. Now, this is talking about men. because if you read through this, they're talking about it gives them power and all this other stuff. Instead of them doing the ones chasing, how about them? It's the women that are putting themselves out there. And what do I mean? They're on the dating apps. They're on Instagram and the bikini photos or the bathing suit photos or the crop top photos. They're on the dating app with their cleavage hanging out. They're out there on Facebook. They're putting themselves out there, just fishing their lines out, waiting for some guy to bite. They're always doing that. They're charming but manipulative. I would say instead of charming, because women aren't really charming, I'd say the same thing, where they love bomb you and they make it seem like, oh, we've got so much in common, and then boom, come to find out they were lying. They say all the right things. Same thing, a lot of love bombing and wow, you're so amazing. They go hot and cold. That's a lot of women today. They go hot and cold on you. You never get their full attention. We know this. I mean, how many times have you guys even said you're out on a date and this is first date, second date, and you're 10 minutes into it talking with them and they're picking up the damn phone looking at it. And here's the thing. You could silence it. You could put it in a purse. You can stick it in your pocket. Or if you're a guy, and I will explain this because I've been in jeans before and my phone, with these new modern phones that are like the size of a tablet, I can't sit down comfortably in blue jeans and a phone. I'll say, I'm putting this on the table because it doesn't fit in my pocket. Or many times I actually leave it in the car unless I have to text them that I'm in the restaurant. I'll leave it in the car. And I just say, look, I can't put this in my pocket, but it's off, and I'll put it face down, and I say, but I can't sit down with it. I'll let them know why I'm doing it. It's just common courtesy. But we know how many times, man, the minute something goes a little slow, they're just quickly pulling up, see how many likes on Facebook they got, how many Instagram likes they got, always distracted. The first couple of dates are incredible. Maybe. A lot of you guys aren't even making it past the first couple dates. But again, first couple dates go great, and then it falls off a cliff. You never meet their family. Yeah, that's a thing of the past. You don't want to meet, or they don't want to meet your family. They only want physical and not emotional intimacy. Here's the thing. As a guy, I don't think we necessarily get intimacy from being like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I don't see myself like, oh, darling, I love being with you and our bonding while we're close. That's like a Hallmark movie. But it's different. In other words, like if I'm dating a girl and you have a little bit of bedroom fun and then it's like, hey, you want to cuddle up and watch a movie? Yeah, I'm down for that. It's not like I'm going to roll her out of bed and tell her to go make me a sandwich. Actually, let me correct that. After she makes me a sandwich, she can come back and cuddle after that. I mean, that's cool. But again, it's the hookup culture today. And everybody's doing that, both guys and women. So again, that's not going to be conducive to a relationship. They make promises they can't keep. Ugh, don't get me started on that one. They have a habit of disappearing, ghosting. Yep. They're masters of the grand gesture. In other words, they'll do something really nice for you, or she'll send you a lot of, spicy photos and in the beginning and really get your attention. And then they stop coming over time, or you have to ask for them. And then you get a little bit of pushback because she doesn't really feel like it because, I don't know, her cat's in her lap or something like that. Again, the gestures, the kindness, the things change over time. And again, if you've gotten into a position where you're in a marriage or a long-term relationship, no refunds, no returns. Like, it changes over time. They're never single. Just talked about that. They overpromise and underdeliver. Yeah. They don't seem that interested in getting to know you. And this is going both ways. But again, guys, how many times do you notice this on the dates that you're trying to go out with, or the women that you're trying to talk to on a dating app? How they put in zero effort to have a conversation with you or get to know you, other than what are you do, and are you really 6 feet tall? They don't like opening up to you. They do like making you jealous. Yeah, right. They make grandiose statements. Oh, okay. This would be love bombing. I've never felt this way about anyone before. I'm scared of how much I love you. I'd die if we ever split up. I can't live without you. I want us to spend the rest of our lives together. Those are pretty big statements for the first month or two of dating somebody. Not good. But that's fishing you in. That's love bombing and getting you interested. It's okay if somebody says, you know what, I really do miss you, or I really want to spend time with you, or I can't wait to see you again. Like, that's okay. Like, I can see that in the first couple months of dating. But when you start getting into the I'm scared of how much I love you, that especially if it's a couple of weeks or a month, They won't talk about your future together. They're afraid of commitment. They always end the relationship. That's 80% of divorces are now filed by women. And women, most of the time, are lining up another guy in the back burner. When the butterflies are done with you, they jump to the next one. So again, this is why, and I'll do the last one, but before I started going down this is why we don't get married anymore. This is why we don't cohabitate. And when I say cohabitate, look at the laws. Like some areas, if you have the same post office address for 15 hot minutes, you're cohabitating together. Other places, it takes 2 years. Other places, it takes up to, I think, 7 years, although most of the time that's getting chipped to shorter and shorter time. I even did the story about the guy, I think it was in Ontario, that dated a woman for an extensive period of time, but they never had the same address. They never lived together, and they still nailed him. And they never had a kid together, and they were never married. And they still nailed him for alimony for something like $50,000 a month, and he never even lived with her. So check the laws. And it's not that the dating is the bad part. It's the laws getting involved. But what I'm pointing out here is all the reasons why you may think you found a unicorn and you may think something's different. But when you start looking at all these traits, you're like, that's a serial cheater, a serial dater, someone that is not ready to date. I think this pretty much applies to almost everybody anymore. That's why finding someone is a needle in a needle stack. Again, it's very hard to find, and to look for that person, it's incredibly painful. I'll just breeze down through this real quick. They want to keep things light. Yep, very, very light and not very serious. They're bored easily in long-term relationships. Again, 80% of women today. They're a little too charming, or again, a little too forward. They're flaky and break promises. Yeah. How many times have you had a first date show up late or a second date show up late? Do not put up with flakiness. They're not transparent. Yeah, they hide a lot of their personal stuff. Or they're too transparent and they have their OnlyFans link on everything. They downplay the seriousness of infidelity, and they say things like everyone cheats to justify it. That's a big warning sign. They don't ever care about where you are or what you're doing. I don't know. I don't think I'd want somebody that's always like, where are you? What are you doing? Where are you? What are you doing? They're not willing to change their behavior. That's a big one. But here's the thing. If they have crappy behavior to begin with, they don't need to change their behavior. You just should not be dating them. They're insecure and have low self-esteem. Again, that is the vast majority of women getting gratification out on social media today. Everyone before you was a problem. We've heard this one, guys. Oh, my last boyfriend was harmful, or he did this, or he drank too much, or he was mean, or he always argued. It was always his fault, his fault, his fault. And if you go back a couple of relationships, it's pretty... It's different if they say, yeah, we just kind of drifted apart. It didn't really happen. That's different. But when they literally blame him for doing bad things, and that's what ends up resulting in her being single all the time, then either, number one, it's telling you that she's picking bad guys that did bad things to her, so her picker is bad, or it's telling you that she's lying, but she probably screwed something up, but doesn't want your focus to be on her bad actions, so she blames it on somebody else. They show deceitfulness and disregard for the rights of others. They show a lack of remorse and empathy. They think like nothing is their fault. That's huge today. They've admitted to cheating in previous relationships. That's a big one. They're arrogant and entitled. That's a big one. So there's a fun little listing. I just thought I would kind of do a little mashup of a bunch of things again, you can get a refund. You can get a return if you're just dating. But if you've invested your heart, you're going to get crushed. You're going to get hurt during the whole process. And if you cohabitated or you've gotten married and you didn't sort out all these red flags, you're in for some trouble. You're going to be losing money. You're going to be losing freedom, probably if you have kids, maybe paying child support. And when you take all these little flags that they've talked about in serial cheating or serial daters or people that are damaged and shouldn't be dating, that is literally like 99% of everybody that's out there today, or at least the people that you're going to find on dating apps or you're going to be bumping into that are looking to date. Now, maybe you can meet somebody in the real world that's not kind of all encompassing all this, and maybe you can meet someone in the real world that's not all these things. But the odds are, if you're looking for someone, these are the type of people you're going to find. You may just have to hope to get lucky and have it fall in your lap. But again, there's no guarantees. And if you miss these and you get yourself into trouble, no refunds, no exchanges, no returns, man. Oh, I should have put no exchanges in on my thumbnail. I should have remembered that. All right. If you're on Locals, we'll move on to the dating profiles and the losses of the day. Guys, if you're on YouTube, join me over on betterbachelor.locals.com, where we will continue on with all the juicy stuff. Guys, if you enjoy original content, if you'd like to see dating profiles of the day where I roast dating profiles that women are putting online, if you'd like to get new original news every day where I talk about various topics, and if you'd like to see the losses of the day, I'm moving all of those to the end of my content, and they're going to be exclusively on locals.com. That's betterbachelor.locals.com. You can also join several other creators over on Locals, such as Coffee with Scott Adams, The Rubin Report with Dave Rubin, Tulsi Gabbard, Viva Barnes Law, Better Bachelor, of course, yours truly, Michael Malice, and let's see who else we've got on here. We've got Donald Trump Jr., we've got Prager University, the Babylon Bee. Who else is fun? Carpe Donktum is over here. Paul Joseph Watson, Dr. Drew. We got tons of creators that are unique, and everybody is moving over to locals.com. Well, when I say everybody that's smart, that is. So if you'd like to see original content done by me, become a supporter today over at betterbachelor.locals.com. Join myself, 35,000 other of your fellow viewers from YouTube, and join other content creators to get new and unique perspectives that you can no longer see on YouTube.